Hey, we're back with another unboxing video. It's been a little while, but we got an awesome watch called the Carbinox Vortex that Carbinox has sent me to check it out. I believe this is one of their newer available watches. So got this guy, we'll unbox it, we'll check it out. They also sent along with it, they got, looks like a little band that comes with it that's a carbon fiber kind of design to it. And then we also have a metal watch band. So we'll check out both the bands, we'll check out the watch, check out all the stuff that comes along with it. So let's open this bad boy up, huh? All right, so we'll slice the sucker open, check out what we have. Now, this one is the Vortex model, is what it's called. It says, unlocking a new level of durability. So if you did not see my previous video with the Carbinox Ranger, the X Ranger specifically, that thing was pretty durable. So a great watch to kind of facilitate individuals that maybe are a little rough on things. And I believe this also has that same kind of design. Unlocking a new level of durability never seen before on a smartwatch. We've just forged the most rugged, resistant smartwatch ready to stand out against extreme conditions. Get ready to stay connected anywhere, anytime. Now, let's check out what we've got inside. It's got a little bit of specs on the box too. We make smartwatches, but stronger. It says fully made of zinc alloy metal, up to 15 days of battery per cycling charge. We've got a 1.96 AMOLED cornering Gorilla Glass. It's got plus 100 sports modes with smart recognition. Let's see what we got in the box. Let's unveil it. Let's see what we have. Ooh, it's got a good little seal. So we pop off the top here. Welcome to your next experience. Are you ready for your lifetime smartwatch? Enjoy your Carbinox. All right. So we got a little booklet here on the top. We pull it off. We got the watch underneath rather. We got inside of a little packet here, probably like the instruction manuals and everything like that. It looks like we got, oh cool. It's got like a little, looks like maybe a little screen protector for the watch. You've got a little thing for like a special little surprise to scan with your QR code with your camera, and then you have the instruction manual for how to operate and how to utilize the watch right there. But inside the box, we got open this, you'll need it. A very good Legend of Zelda kind of reference type of thing, video game type of reference. There was also on the previous one that I had too. We got a little bit of a peel. I don't think it's really that satisfying of a peel. It's a little bit, it's on there pretty good. So probably not anything of amazing of appeal, but pull the watch out. Here we go. Let's get this little plastic covering off here. That off of there, that off there. This one looks nice. Compared to the X Ranger that I had, I kind of like this one better. This is, the way that the bezel and the way that the body of this watch looks, it looks cool. I like this. We'll be doing some cool close-ups, so I'll give you guys a better view and everything too, but the first thing that we've got to do is I got to charge it. I got to get this thing charged up to 100% so we can see how the battery does. Use this for my daily watch for about a week, like I did before, and really try it out and kind of see how it operates and how it works. So I'm gonna get it charged up, I'm gonna rock it, I'm gonna wear it, and we'll kind of see how things go. Before we kind of do that, let's check out the bands. I almost forgot about the bands. So we got the watch itself, and then we also have a couple bands that come with it. So it already comes with this black, kind of like, you know, like a sports type of band already on it. We have another sports band here that's kind of like it looks like a carbon fiber kind of look to it. So we have a cool carbon fiber kind of design kind of band. It looks pretty cool. I like this one. This one looks pretty cool too. So maybe I'll change it up a little bit, maybe put this band on for a little while, and then we also come with a metal band as well, so check that one out. So this one's got some extra parts, some links. Looks like you probably have a little toolkit, and it comes with a little toolkit to come along with it to help you resize it, to be able to change out links. Got some extra links and everything like that, and it's covered in some plastic. All right, so we got a nice black kind of metal Carbinox band as well. So this one's a stainless steel. Yep, a little stainless steel action here we've got. So several options kind of available to utilize with the stainless steel, the sports band that's kind of like a carbon fiber kind of look to it, and then the black sports band. So probably mix it up, change it up, but nonetheless, like I said, get this bad boy charged up and try it out for about a week, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts and tell you what all this bad boy, the Vortex, can do. So stick around, be right back. And I'm back. So I've been using the Carbinox Vortex for about a week now, trying it out to see how things work and how it lasts and everything. I made sure to fully charge it to 100% before starting the test, because that was one of the things I wanted to check, is to see how well the battery actually lasts. So with this watch, there's a couple things that can definitely, degrade that battery life, right? How often are you using it, what you're doing with it. There is an option for an always on display. So if you have that on compared to off, if you have the always on display off, then they estimate around 15 days. So you can get a great 15-day charge without having to recharge it during that time frame, approximately, right? So within that time frame, you get a lot more usage out of that watch without having to take it off and recharge it. Me, I sometimes like to have the option to be able to see what time it is without having to raise it to a certain position to be able to see it, because if you have the always on display off, then after a few seconds, whenever you have it set for, it's going to turn off to kind of conserve battery power. So then when you raise the watch back to a certain position, it comes back on, so that way you can see what time it is. So I wanted to try it with the always on display on. So I have it in the on, that way it'll stay on, and then if I raise it or tap it in a certain way, then it goes and actually shows all the full details with all that data and everything else. Otherwise, it'll eventually go dim to kind of have still just the basics of the time and date. That does depend on specifically what watch face you have. Typically, the ones made by Carbinox has an always on display version of that watch face that after a certain amount of time, it goes to that version of the display. And then once you raise it to wake it, if you have that turned on, or you tap on the screen, then it goes to the full screen to be able to see all the other data and everything else. Of course, that is going to drain battery power faster. You do have the option when you're utilizing the always on display to also set it up with a schedule. That is kind of cool, because if you don't want it on all the time, like for example, you don't need to have the always on display on while you're sleeping, you can actually set a schedule to make it to where that always on display turns off at a certain time and then turns back on at another time. So I utilized it in that kind of functionality. I had the always on display turn off at around 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, and then turn back on at 5:30 in the morning. That way while I'm sleeping, I don't need to have the always on display on. So it conserves battery during that time while I'm sleeping, but then it still keeps it on during the day when I'm actually awake and using the watch and stuff. So I utilize that in that way. So that is not going to produce that 15-day, charging cycle type of thing. It's going to be a lot less, obviously, because you're using more power. I found that with always on display and setting up a schedule to have it turn off during the night while I'm sleeping, I was able to get roughly about 3 days before I had to charge it again. If you're trying to stretch that time, there is a battery conserving mode that if you want to have it always on display on, and then you start to kind of run low on battery and you're hey, I need to preserve this time a little bit longer, you can turn on the battery saving mode, which will allow it to kind of just have some really basic data, but it does kind of turn off the always on display, and that kind of stretches your time a little bit. So you can use that either for when you're using the always on display or even when you're not using the always on display to kind of conserve battery length. But nonetheless, in my testing, I found with always on display on and also having a schedule, about 3 days. But if you want to make it a little bit longer, you can turn the always on display off, and you probably can get roughly around 15 days. Now, there's a lot of apps, a lot of functionality with this watch, a lot of different things that you can do with the watch. You can, do workouts, which is what you would expect from a smartwatch, to be able to track your workouts and be able to see how your workouts are kind of going and be able to, choose what specific workout you're going to be doing. There's a lot of that functionality. There's a lot of other things. You can use a calculator. So, you want to do some quick math on your watch without using your phone. You can do that if you wish to do so. There's timers and alarms and all sorts of other things like that. You even have some breathing exercises if you want to kind of get your breathing under control, or you're just trying to meditate or relax. You can kind of go through the little breathing exercises that are pre-programmed onto the watch. But swiping down from the top of the watch, that gets a lot of your basic settings to be able to turn on the raise to wake, to silent it. You even have a convenient way to access find your phone. So if you can't find your phone, but it's still paired to your phone, you're within the vicinity of your phone, you can press a little button to have it kind of start playing the ringtone on your phone. Even if your phone is on vibrate or on silent, it'll still play the sound that we can find your phone very conveniently. Swiping up from the bottom, that gives you access to a lot of your data for your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, your workouts, all sorts of other data inside of there. Swiping to the left will give you a notification so you can see like maybe if you have like a text message from someone, but just be aware with the Carbinox Vortex, you can't reply to any of these text messages. You can't do any kind of like pre-programmed ones that I've found or anything that allows you to be able to, message somebody, back or whatever. You just simply read it, and then if you want to reply to that message, you have to actually go to your phone to be able to reply to that message, but it will allow you to read it off of your watch. You can make phone calls though through the watch if you want to. If you swipe to the right, that gives you a lot of other applications to be able to use things like the calculator and some breathing exercises and your workouts and everything, but also gives you a functionality to be able to make phone calls. So if you want to just dial in a phone number or use your contacts to choose a contact, you can actually call somebody and you can use the watch to listen to them and talk to them and just talk directly on the watch and just leave your phone in your pocket, in your purse, whatever you got going on. Changing the watch faces is actually really easy. All you have to do is just kind of long press onto the actual watch itself. That'll bring up the menu to show you all of your already installed watch faces to choose from, and then you pick one and tap on it, and then it'll allow you to be able to go to that watch face and start using that watch face. Now, if you are using the always on display, there are some watch faces that don't have like an always on display mode kind of a thing, because essentially it has two watch faces. If it does, it'll have the watch face for when you're using it normally, and then like an always on display version of the watch face that's more simple data. And if that watch face does not have an always on display, then the screen goes black. Typically what I've found is pretty much all of the Carbinox specific watch faces have an always on display, but some of the third-party watch faces that may be available may not have one. So you kind of have to test it out and kind of find, which ones do, which ones don't, if that's a feature you're using. You can also change watch faces through the app on the phone. So you have an app that's dedicated on the phone. When you set up the watch, you go through the whole setup process, you download the app, you set up an account and everything. And in that app, you can do a lot of controls to change settings on the watch. And that's also where you can go to find like new watch faces or sync up, a watch face that you want to utilize. A lot of features can be done inside of the actual app that is on your phone. Now, the other key thing you want to know about is what this kind of watch is kind of marketed for, which is people who are rough on watches, right? People that are a little bit more rougher on your average watch and you're worried about, having a smart watch and breaking it. Well, they advertise it to be tough and durable. So we need to do a little bit of that testing. I think one of the things we should try is maybe a sniper rifle. How does it hold up with a sniper rifle? Yeah, looks good. But seriously, let's try some other things. So doing some basic drop tests, right? I dropped it from about 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, a couple different kind of elevations, different heights and everything, where the watch face was actually hitting on the concrete itself, and the watch seems to be fine, even banging it up against like some walls and everything. So if you're rough, you drop it and you bang it up against a wall, the screen's fine. There are some little nicks like on the actual metal, kind of like outer casing of the watch, but the screen itself looks fine. The screen still functions just fine. Now, the version of the watch that I got comes with a couple of different watch bands. It comes with a simple black one that comes with the watch. There's also this carbon fiber looking one that I may have shown you at the beginning of the video. There's also a metal one, and changing out the band is fairly easy. It's not as complicated as changing out a watch band on some generic watch that you may buy from a generic store, right? It's a little bit easier. I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely easy, but it's not too bad, right? It just takes a little bit of work to kind of see how it goes. You just enter the pin onto one side, and it's got an easy little latch to be able to kind of unlatch it and relatch it to make it hook onto the actual watch itself. So it's fairly simple to be able to change out the watch bands. That way, if you have multiple watch bands that you've gotten with the watch or whatever, and you want to switch them up every now and then, it's not that difficult to be able to change out those watch bands. So now the final thoughts on the watch. I've been using the watch for a while, and I like the watch. I think it definitely is great for especially individuals that are maybe rough on watches. Maybe you're in the military, maybe you work in construction, or maybe you're just rough, like I said, rough on the watches. Then I think it's great for it. I think there are two main reasons why some individuals will want to get this watch, why it's probably best for you. One is that durability, right? If you're worried about breaking an expensive watch, you're worried about breaking whatever, a cheap watch, it doesn't matter, right? Then this is probably a good watch to be able to counter that, right? Because you shouldn't, I mean, like, it's not indestructible, but your normal stuff that may break your average watch probably won't break this one, right? Banging up against stuff, whatever, doing some things that are, a little rough on it or whatever, should just be fine, right? Not indestructible, but nonetheless, probably much more durable than your average watch. The second factor is that charge, amount of time you have to be able to have a battery life on that watch, right? Your common competitor watches, right? You may have to charge that every single day, maybe every other day, but with this watch lasting 15 days, if you were not using always on display at least, you can, last quite a while. If you're in the military, you're going out into the field or whatever, and you're going to be out in the field for a week, great watch for that kind of scenario. But a lot of other individuals, it's just nice to not have to always just throw it on a charger all the time. So being able to go 15 days, is nice. Being able to go like a whole week is nice even, So the durability and that battery life, I think, is the two main key factors that I think makes this watch pretty darn good. Other than that, a lot of the features that it does is a lot of features you're going to get with other watches for a much better price, a much more value out of it, because you get that battery life that's better than the competitors, and you get that more durability that's probably better than the competitors, but also a lot of that same app functionality like for workouts and everything else. The only probably thing that you're missing out on compared to some of the main competitors is maybe being able to reply to a text message, which me personally, I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's nice and convenient to be able to, just look at the watch and maybe read the text message that I have. And if it's something that's not that important, I can just keep moving on with whatever I'm doing and then reply back to it later. Or if it is something important, then I can take my phone out and reply back via the phone. It's not that big of a deal for me to pull my phone out to be able to text someone back. So that's probably the only thing it's lacking, but I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think, even I have had watches that I can do that with, and I really don't like doing that. I really don't like trying to type on that small screen to try to text back. I'd rather just use my phone. So a lot of the other features that it can do, other smartwatches can do and everything like that, but you're getting it for a better price, and you're probably also getting that more durability and longer battery life. So in the end, I think it's a pretty good watch, not just because they're sponsoring this video, but seriously, it's good. It's a good watch, and it lasts a long time. So that's the main thing for me that I like, is I don't like having to put my watch on the charger every single night. I want to be able to go several days without having to throw my watch on the charger, and this watch can do that. So if this is a watch that you're interested in, just make sure to check out the links down in the description box down below. I got a link to the watch. You even have a little bit of a discount if you're buying it off of Amazon for you. So check out the links down in the description box down below to purchase the watch for you, for someone else, whatever you need. I think it's really key if you're in those kind of two main ones. You need something that's durable and you need something that's going to last a long time. This is probably the watch for you. So check out the Carbinox Vortex, link in the description box down below. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.